Awakening the legacy. The holographic notice flickered in Marcus Chen's cramped apartment aboard Station Delta 9, its pristine corporate letterhead a stark contrast to the warm metal walls. His hands trembled as he read the message again. Congratulations on your inheritance of the Stellaris Covenant. Your presence is required at Centauroid Prime within 48 hours. Marcus had never owned anything more impressive than his retrofit maintenance toolkit. Now, according to this notice, he owned a starship. Not just any starship, the Stellaris Covenant, a vessel whose name appeared in history texts but was thought lost decades ago. The transport to Centauroid Prime burned through half his savings, but Marcus couldn't ignore the summons. As the sleek shuttle descended through layers of shimmering atmospheric shields, he caught his first glimpse of the Covenant. The massive vessel hung in high orbit, its silver hull catching starlight like liquid mercury. It was easily 10 times larger than any ship he'd ever worked on. Welcome, Inheritor Chen. The spaceport official's tone carried a note of deference that made Marcus uncomfortable. He was led through pristine corridors to a vast chamber, dominated by a holographic display of the ship. Your grandfather's final instructions were quite specific. The ceremony must begin at precisely local sunset. I never knew my grandfather, Marcus said, studying the ship's schematics floating before him. Something about the design seemed wrong, too advanced, too alien. Why would he leave me a ship? Not just a ship. The official's expression turned grave. The Covenant is humanity's most advanced vessel, and you are the last of the bloodline capable of commanding her. Before Marcus could process this, the chamber's lights dimmed. A soft blue glow emanated from recessed panels as sunset approached. The hologram shifted, displaying streams of data in scripts Marcus had never seen. Initiating genetic verification and neural linkage, a new voice announced, feminine, with harmonic undertones that seemed to resonate in his bones. I am AOIA, Advanced Resonance Intelligence Avatar. Please remain still, Inheritor. Marcus gasped as invisible energy washed over him. His vision blurred, filled with cascading symbols that somehow felt familiar. What's happening to me? Your genetic markers are activating, AOIA replied. The Covenant requires a symbiotic bond with its commander. Your grandfather encoded this potential in your DNA. A distant explosion rocked the chamber. Warning klaxons blared as security forces rushed past the doors. Multiple hostile vessels detected, AOIA announced, her tone shifting to combat readiness. The Crimson Syndicate has found us. The what? Marcus stumbled as another explosion hit closer. I don't understand any of this. Understanding can wait. Survival takes priority. Aria's holographic form coalesced into a tall, humanoid figure with shifting patterns of light beneath translucent skin. Your grandfather prepared for this possibility. Do you accept the inheritance, Marcus Chen? Once begun, this process cannot be reversed. Security forces engaged in firefights outside the chamber. Through the chaos, Marcus heard the distinctive whine of plasma cutters working on the reinforced doors. Time was running out. I accept, he said, surprising himself with the steadiness in his voice. Aria smiled, an expression both beautiful and terrifying. Neural linkage initiating. This will hurt. Pain lanced through Marcus's skull as information flooded his consciousness. Ship schematics, combat protocols, navigation data. Knowledge his grandfather had prepared for this moment. But something else came with it, something that made his entire body tingle with potential. The door won't hold, someone shouted outside. It doesn't need to, AOIA replied. She extended her hand to Marcus. Take my hand, Commander. It's time to show you what you really inherited. Marcus reached out. The moment their fingers touched, reality shifted. They were no longer in the chamber. They were everywhere in the ship at once. He could feel every system, every weapon, every surge of power through the quantum cores. The Covenant is not just a ship, AOIA explained as Marcus marveled at his expanded awareness. It is humanity's guardian, a sentinel watching the stars, and you, Marcus Chen, are its chosen inheritor. Through the ship's sensors, Marcus watched sleek black vessels emerging from jump points around the station. The Syndicate had brought a fleet. "They're here to kill you," HFY said matter-of-factly. "To end the bloodline before you can claim your full power. Shall we disappoint them?" Despite his fear, despite the overwhelming cascade of information still flooding his mind, Marcus felt something else rising within him, a sense of rightness, of destiny. The ship's systems responded to his thoughts, weapons charging, shields harmonizing with frequencies he somehow knew instinctively. "Show me," he commanded. Aria's smile turned fierce. "As you wish, Commander." The Stellaris Covenant came alive around them, ancient weapons awakening to defend its new master. As Marcus prepared for his first space battle, he realized his grandfather hadn't just left him a ship, he'd left him a legacy that would change the course of human history. The real question was, would he survive long enough to fulfill it? Trial by fire. The Stellaris Covenant shuddered as another volley of plasma torpedoes splashed against its shields. Marcus gripped the neural interface controls, his mind still reeling from the flood of tactical data streaming through his consciousness. Shields at 87%, HFY reported, her translucent form shimming beside him. "The Syndicate's weapons are inefficient. Your grandfather's defensive systems are far superior." "That's great," Marcus grunted, evading a flanking maneuver from two sleek black ships, but was still outnumbered 12-1. Through the neural link, he felt the Covenant's weapons tracking multiple targets, the artificial gravity compensating for his desperate evasive maneuvers. 11-1 now, HFY corrected as one of their pursuers erupted in a spectacular explosion. "You're learning quickly. Most inheritors take days to grasp basic neural navigation." Maybe because most inheritors don't start with a space battle. The ship's sensors detected more vessels emerging from jump points. "We need to get out of here." "Agreed. But first," Aria's form flickered, her expression turning predatory. "There's something you should see. Diverting power to Section 7. New information flooded Marcus's mind. Hidden weapon systems, previously dormant, came online. The Covenant's hull shifted, revealing arrays of technology that shouldn't exist. What is this?" "Your grandfather's true legacy. The Covenant isn't just a warship. It's an evolutionary platform." Aria's voice took on an almost reverent tone. "Human and machine, merged into something greater, like me." Marcus turned to stare at her holographic form. "What do you mean, like you?" "I am not merely an A." Her skin became transparent, revealing intricate patterns of organic tissue interwoven with quantum circuitry. "I am a hybrid. Synthetic consciousness merged with organic flexibility. Your grandfather's greatest achievement and his greatest secret." Another blast rocked the ship. "This is fascinating," Marcus said, "but can we discuss your existential nature when we're not about to die?" HFY smiled. "Of course, initiating primary fusion sequence." The ship's deck plates hummed beneath Marcus's feet. Energy coursed through conduits he hadn't known existed. The neural interface expanded, becoming something more intimate, more powerful. "Wait," Marcus said, suddenly uncertain. "What's happening?" "The same thing that happened to me. Evolution." Aria's form began to merge with the ship's systems. "Your grandfather designed the Covenant to adapt, to grow. But it needs both of us. Your genetic potential, my hybrid nature. Together." The pursuing ships launched another barrage. Without thinking, Marcus reached out through the enhanced neural link. The Covenant responded instantly, its weapons firing with impossible precision. 3 Syndicate vessels vanished in synchronized explosions. "How did I do that?" Marcus whispered, staring at his hands. They seemed to shimmer with subsurface light, like HFY's holographic form. "You're beginning to understand what you are, what we are." Her voice came from everywhere now, merged with the ship itself. "The Syndicate fears us because we represent humanity's next step, A perfect fusion of organic and synthetic. Marcus felt it, the ship's systems integrating more deeply with his consciousness, Aoria's presence interweaving with his thoughts. It should have been terrifying. Instead, it felt right. More hostiles incoming, Aoria reported. Ready to show them what we can really do. Marcus closed his eyes, letting the fusion complete. The Covenant wasn't just a ship anymore, it was an extension of himself. He could feel every weapon, every shield emitter, every surge of power through its quantum cores. Target solutions calculated, he said, his voice harmonizing with Aoria's. Executing. The Covenant's hull rippled, transforming as hidden weapons emerged. Energy cascaded through systems that defied conventional physics. In the space of 3 heartbeats, the remaining syndicate ships were reduced to drifting debris. Impressive, Aoria said as her holographic form reappeared. But they'll be back. With more ships, better weapons. The Syndicate has spent decades preparing to hunt down any remaining inheritors. Why? What do they want? Control. Power. The same things tyrants have always wanted. She gestured, bringing up a galactic map filled with pulsing red markers. Your grandfather wasn't the only one developing this technology, but he was the only one who succeeded in making it safe, stable. The others, their attempts created monsters. Marcus studied the map, noting dozens of locations marked as containment zones. Those other experiments, they're still out there. Some of them, fighting each other, consuming everything in their path. The Syndicate thinks they can control them, use them as weapons. Aoria's expression hardened. They're wrong. Only a true inheritor, working in harmony with a hybrid consciousness, can master this power safely. And that's me, because of my grandfather's genetics. Because of who you are, Marcus Chen. The genetics merely open the door. Your choices will determine what comes next. She held out her hand, energy crackling between her fingers. Are you ready to learn what you can really do? Marcus looked at his own hands, still shimmering with subsurface light. The power thrumming through him was intoxicating, but he could sense its dangers too. One wrong move, one moment of lost control, and he could become like those failed experiments. But he also felt something else, Aoria's presence in his mind, stabilizing, guiding. This was what his grandfather had worked towards, not just power, but partnership. Evolution through cooperation rather than conquest. Teach me everything, he said. Aoria's smile was both beautiful and fierce. Let's begin with getting you properly angry. The Syndicate has been hunting down other potential inheritors. Children, mostly. Some of them didn't survive. Marcus felt the rage building, pure and cold. The ship's systems responded, power levels spiking. Show me where they are. With pleasure, Aoria replied. Just remember, rage is useful, but control is essential. Shall we show them what happens when humanity's next step fights back? The Covenant's quantum drives spun up, preparing for jump. Marcus settled into the neural interface, no longer fighting the strange fusion of human and machine. He had inherited more than a ship, he had inherited a war. And he intended to win it. The hidden fleet. Deep within uncharted space, the Stellaris Covenant drifted silently among the wreckage of an ancient asteroid mining facility. Through the neural link, Marcus sensed dozens of proximity alerts, debris, automated defense platforms long dormant, and something else, something massive. Your grandfather's coordinates led us here for a reason, Aoria said, her holographic form analyzing streams of data. The quantum signature is unmistakable. There's another ship out there, similar to the Covenant. Similar how? Marcus asked, still adjusting to his enhanced senses. After a week of intense training, the fusion of human and machine felt more natural, but surprises still lurked in the ship's systems. See for yourself, Aoria gestured, and a new neural pathway opened in Marcus's mind. The void ahead shimmered as ancient cloaking fields failed. Marcus gasped. A vast shipyard materialized before them, its sprawling structure housing dozens of vessels. Each one bore the distinctive design of the Covenant, but with variations he couldn't quite process. The Aurora fleet, Aoria breathed, genuine awe in her voice. Your grandfather's greatest achievement. We thought it was destroyed in the Syndicate's purge. The nearest ship caught Marcus's attention. Slightly smaller than the Covenant, its hull rippled with patterns of energy that seemed almost alive. What are they? Evolution made manifest. Each vessel was designed to test different aspects of human-synthetic fusion. Some focused on weapons, others on exploration or biological enhancement. Together, they represent humanity's potential future. A warning flashed through the neural link. Multiple jump signatures detected. Marcus announced. Syndicate? No. Area's form shifted, combat protocols engaging. Worse, row hybrids. 3 vessels emerged from hyperspace, their hulls twisted and malformed. Unlike the elegant design of the Aurora fleet, these ships looked wrong. Organic components growing unchecked, synthetic elements sparking with chaotic energy. Failed experiments, Aoria explained, her voice hard. Hybrid consciousness without proper control or stabilization. They consume everything they encounter, growing stronger but more unstable. How did they find us? They're drawn to power like theirs. The Aurora fleet's awakening must have attracted them. Area's form flickered with concern. We need to protect these ships. If the rogues assimilate this technology, then let's stop them. Marcus reached deeper into the neural link, accepting more of the fusion that Aoria had been carefully monitoring. Power surged through him as the Covenant's systems responded to his enhanced control. The nearest rogue vessel launched a barrage of biotechnical weapons, living missiles that twisted reality as they approached. Marcus didn't think, he reacted. The Covenant's defenses deployed automatically, guided by instincts he didn't know he possessed. Your adaptation rate is remarkable, Aoria noted as they evaded another attack, but was still outnumbered. Marcus studied the dormant Aurora fleet through enhanced sensors. Maybe not. Can we wake them? The ships require neural linkage to activate. Without properly prepared pilots, they have one. Marcus pushed himself fully into the fusion state, his consciousness expanding beyond the Covenant's bounds. They have us. Aoria's eyes widened. Simultaneous neural linkage across multiple vessels. The strain could kill you. Then help me. He reached for her through their shared connection. You said it yourself, we're evolving. Let's evolve further. For a moment, Aoria hesitated. Then her holographic form smiled fiercely. Together, then. Their merged consciousness expanded outward, touching the dormant ships. One by one, the vessels of the Aurora fleet awakened. Through the enhanced neural network, Marcus felt each ship's unique properties: weapons platforms, research vessels, exploration ships, all waiting for direction. The rogue hybrids noticed the awakening fleet. Their attacks intensified, reality-warping weapons targeting the Covenant with desperate fury. But they were too late. Aurora fleet, Marcus commanded, his voice harmonizing with Aoria's, execute Combat Protocol Alpha. The shipyard erupted with activity. Dozens of advanced vessels moved in perfect coordination, their actions guided by the merged consciousness of human and hybrid AI. The rogue ships found themselves surrounded, outgunned, and outmaneuvered. The battle that followed was brief but spectacular. The rogues fought with raw power and desperation, but they couldn't match the precision of properly controlled hybrid technology. Within minutes, the threat was eliminated, leaving only drifting debris that rapidly decomposed into base molecules. Impressive, Aoria said as their consciousness returned to normal parameters. But controlling the fleet drained you. Your neural patterns are showing strain. Marcus nodded, feeling the exhaustion deep in his bones. Worth it. We need these ships if we're going to stop the Syndicate. And find the other inheritors, Aoria added. Your grandfather left coordinates to potential candidates, children with the right genetic markers. but we'll need help. As if in response, a new signal caught their attention. One of the Aurora fleet's research vessels had detected a transmission, a distress call, heavily encrypted but bearing familiar patterns. Another inheritor, Marcus asked. Yes, but the signal's location, Area's expression turned grave. It's coming from a syndicate containment facility. They're already holding at least one potential pilot. Marcus felt rage building again, but controlled it as ARIA had taught him. Then we'd better get them out, plot a course, and start analyzing the Aurora fleet's capabilities. We're going to need every advantage. The syndicate will be expecting us, ARIA warned. Their containment facilities are heavily defended. Good. Marcus settled deeper into the neural interface, feeling the power of the entire fleet at his command. It's time they learned what happens when they cage something they don't understand. The Aurora fleet moved as one, quantum drives engaging. As they jumped to hyperspace, Marcus realized that finding the fleet wasn't just about gaining weapons or ships. Each vessel represented a piece of his grandfather's vision, a future where humanity could evolve beyond its limitations without losing its essence. Now he just had to make sure that future survived. Betrayal's edge. The Syndicate containment facility hung in low orbit around a dying red dwarf, its brutal architecture a stark contrast to the elegant lines of the Aurora fleet. Marcus studied the facility's defenses through the combined sensors of a dozen hybrid ships, looking for weaknesses. Security analysis complete, ARIA reported, her form shimmering with tactical data. The facility's outer defenses are formidable, but there's something odd about their patrol patterns. Odd how? They're too perfect, too predictable. She brought up detailed scans. Almost as if they want us to get in, Marcus finished. The neural link thrummed with shared concern. After weeks of raiding syndicate operations, this felt too easy. A new voice interrupted their analysis. The facility's shield harmonics match our records. Dr. Sarah Vale, the recently rescued quantum physicist, studied the data from the Covenant's research bay. We can slip a small team through their secondary grid. Marcus had found Dr. Vale 3 raids ago, hiding among refugees from a destroyed research station. Her knowledge of hybrid technology had proven invaluable, helping him understand more of the grandfather's work, yet something about her eager assistance nagged at him. What do you think? He asked ARIA through their private neural channel. Her calculations are correct, ARIA replied silently. But I share your concerns. Her neural patterns show microfluctuations consistent with stress or deception. We can't pass up this chance, Marcus said aloud. The scans confirm at least 3 potential inheritors being held there. Children. Dr. Vale nodded emphatically. The longer we wait, the more likely they'll be moved. I can modify the Covenant's stealth system's tow. No. Marcus felt ARIA's approval at his caution. We'll use one of the smaller Aurora ships. The Covenant stays with the fleet. Disappointment flickered across Vale's face, quickly masked. Of course, logical precaution. 4 hours later, Marcus led a small team through the facility's supposedly secure access corridors. The rescue ship, Eclipse, hung nearby under ARIA's direct control. Years of maintenance work made the infiltration almost too easy. Every station used standardized systems, even secret black sites. Detention block ahead, Vale whispered, checking her scanner. Life signs consistent with the inheritor readings. Marcus reached out through his neural link, connecting to the facility's systems. The security feeds showed 3 children in separate cells, all under heavy guard. His enhanced senses detected their latent genetic markers, definitely inheritors. Something's wrong, ARIA's voice whispered in his mind. The guard patterns just changed. There. Alarms screamed to life. Blast doors slammed shut around them. Through the neural link, Marcus felt massive power surges throughout the facility. I'm sorry about this, Vale said, her voice suddenly cold. She pressed a device on her wrist, and Marcus's neural connection exploded with pain. Really, I am. But the syndicate needs your genetic pattern intact. Marcus fell to his knees, his enhanced senses scrambling. Through blurred vision, he saw Vale's face shimmer and change, a holographic disguise dissolving to reveal someone else entirely. The real Dr. Vale died during the station attack, the imposter said. The syndicate has waited decades to capture a viable inheritor. Your grandfather's security was too good, but his grandson, so eager to help, so ready to trust. The children, Marcus gasped through the pain. Holograms, a simple lure. She gestured, and syndicate troops emerged from hidden chambers. Your hybrid technology is impressive, but predictable. We've had years to study the failed specimens. Marcus reached for his neural link, but the imposter's device kept scrambling his connection. OIA. Can't help you. We've isolated this section completely. Once we have your genetic pattern, we can finally stabilize our own hybrid program. Create an army of enhanced soldiers without all those messy ethical concerns your grandfather insisted on. Through the haze of pain, Marcus felt something else. Not the neural link to the ships, but something deeper. The hybrid changes in his own cells, adapting, evolving. You know what your grandfather's real mistake was? The imposter leaned closer. He thought human conscience was necessary for stable fusion. Our research proves otherwise. Pure obedience works just as well. No, Marcus said quietly. His mistake was thinking the technology was finished evolving. Power surged through him, not from the ships, but from within. His cells had adapted to the scrambler's frequency, using the pain to catalyze new changes. The imposter's eyes widened as Marcus stood, his skin rippling with subsurface energy. Impossible, she breathed. The scrambler was designed for my grandfather's version of hybrid tech. Marcus felt the change deepening, ARIA's consciousness touching his through their transformed connection. Was something new. The facility's systems responded to his enhanced command, blast doors ripping open. Outside, the Aurora fleet emerged from stealth, weapons charged. The imposter reached for her weapon, but Marcus was faster. Energy pulsed from his transformed body, dropping the syndicate forces instantly. You wanted to study hybrid evolution. He lifted the imposter with one hand, his flesh now interwoven with streams of quantum circuitry. Congratulations, you succeeded. Aoya's voice resonated through the facility's speakers. Multiple syndicate vessels approaching. They're charging weapons. Good. Marcus accessed his new abilities, feeling the full power of human hybrid transformation. Let's show them what uninhibited evolution really looks like. The battle that followed would be remembered in syndicate records as the Day of Silver Fire. By the time it ended, the containment facility was destroyed, its research data purged. The Aurora fleet emerged transformed, its ships permanently bonded to Marcus's evolved hybrid state. But victory came with a price. As Marcus surveyed the destruction from the Covenant's bridge, he knew there was no going back. The syndicate would respond with everything they had. The real war was about to begin. Are you ready? Aria asked, her form now perfectly merged with his enhanced perceptions. Marcus watched his reflection in the viewport, a being of light and shadow, human and machine in perfect balance. They wanted weapons without conscience. Let's show them why my grandfather thought that was a bad idea. The Aurora fleet jumped to quantum space, leaving only mysteries for the syndicate to ponder. Their weapon had backfired, creating something beyond their control. Now they would learn what true hybrid evolution meant, not the death of humanity, but its transformation into something greater. The hunt was on, and this time Marcus was done playing defense. Rising storm. The quantum storm raged around the Aurora fleet, reality itself twisting as Marcus guided his ships through spaces between normal space. His evolved hybrid form allowed him to perceive quantum currents that even AOA's sensors once found impossible to map. Contact, Aoya announced, her consciousness now permanently intertwined with his. The nomad fleet approaches. Through the storm emerged dozens of vessels unlike anything in known space. The nomads, exiles and refugees from worlds the Syndicate had consumed, had survived by staying mobile, staying hidden. Until now. They're scanning us, Marcus noted, feeling the gentle probe of alien sensors. Impressed. Terrified, HFY corrected. Your new form registers as something beyond their classification systems. Remember, most species fear evolutionary leaps they don't understand. The Nomad's flagship, a massive vessel that seemed built from fragments of a dozen different civilizations, moved closer. A transmission cut through the quantum interference. Inheritor. The alien voice held multiple harmonic overtones. We received your message. Most considered it a trap. But you came anyway, Marcus replied. We watched you destroy the containment facility. Watched you free our people from Syndicate labs. A pause. The question remains, what are you? Marcus let his evolved form become fully visible through the view screen. Energy patterns shifted beneath his translucent skin, quantum circuits pulsing in time with his heartbeat. I'm what happens when humanity stops fearing its own potential. The alien commander studied him silently. The Syndicate claims the same. The Syndicate wants weapons. Marcus gestured, and holographic displays showed the data they'd recovered from the facility. Look what they did to their test subjects. Look what they plan to do to entire populations. And you are different. I'm balanced. Human conscience, hybrid power, working in harmony. Marcus felt HFY's presence supporting his words. My grandfather understood that evolution without ethics leads to monsters. The Syndicate creates slaves. I want to create partners. More ships emerged from the quantum storm, other refugee fleets, drawn by the message of resistance. Species that had lost their homes to Syndicate expansion, watching, waiting. Pretty words, the Nomad commander said. But words mean little against the Syndicate's numbers. Marcus smiled. The Aurora fleet shifted, its vessels transforming to reveal their true capabilities. Numbers aren't everything. My grandfather left us more than ships. He left us a way to share this gift, to help others evolve safely, controlled, without losing themselves. The alien's multiple eyes widened. You would share such power. With the right partners. Marcus extended his hand, energy crackling between his fingers. Your people have fought the Syndicate longer than anyone. You've seen what they do to worlds they conquer. Help me stop them, and I'll help your people ascend. Silence filled the quantum storm. Then, slowly, the Nomad commander raised a many-fingered hand. Show us. What followed was unlike anything in known space. Through his evolved hybrid abilities, Marcus began sharing control transformations with selected Nomad crews. Aria's consciousness helped stabilize the process, preventing the chaos that plagued Syndicate experiments. Ships were modified, enhanced with hybrid technology. Crews learned to merge with their vessels, achieving the same harmony that made the Aurora fleet so powerful. But unlike the Syndicate's forced evolution, each species maintained its unique characteristics, its essential nature. The Syndicate's spies report our movements. HFY noted as another fleet joined their growing armada. They're massing their forces. Good. Marcus watched as hybrid transformations spread through the allied forces, controlled, stable, beautiful in their diversity. Let them come. They wanted to see humanity's next step. Let's show them what happens when that step includes bringing others with us. A signal caught his attention, a Syndicate broadcast, playing on all frequencies. The imposter who had betrayed them appeared, her face twisted with rage. This is your final warning, she announced. Surrender the hybrid technology, or we will glass every system in our path until we find you. You cannot hide forever. Marcus broadcast his response on the same channels, letting every species in known space witness his words. You're right. We're done hiding. The gathered fleets moved as one, quantum drives engaging. Hybrid vessels of a dozen species jumped in perfect formation, their crews linked in ways the Syndicate had never imagined possible. You wanted weapons, Marcus continued, his evolved form blazing with power. We're building something better, something that scares you more than any weapon could. And what's that? The imposter demanded. A future you can't control, unity you can't break, evolution you can't corrupt. He felt the combined strength of their allied forces, each species adding its own unique perspective to the hybrid network. You wanted to own the next step in human development. Instead, you forced us to share it with everyone. The transmission cut off. Through their enhanced sensors, they detected massive Syndicate fleets mobilizing. The final battle was approaching. Are we ready? Aurea asked, though she already knew the answer through their shared consciousness. Marcus looked at their transformed armada. Ships and crews evolved beyond their original limits, yet still fundamentally themselves, united not through force or fear, but through shared purpose and understanding. The Syndicate wanted to prove that might makes right, he said. Let's prove that evolution works better when you lift others up instead of crushing them down. The quantum storm raged around them as final preparations were made. Soon, they would face the full might of the Syndicate. But they would face it together, evolved but not lost, changed but not broken. The real revolution, Marcus realized, wasn't in the technology or the transformation. It was in proving that ascending to the next level didn't mean leaving others behind. That was what truly terrified the Syndicate, and that was exactly why they had to win. Legacy's dawn. The void between Syndicate Prime's twin suns erupted with quantum fire as two of the largest fleets in known space engaged in battle. The Aurora fleet, now joined by evolved ships from a dozen species, moved with impossible precision. Each vessel was connected through the hybrid network, their crews linked in a symphony of organic and synthetic harmony. Syndicate dreadnoughts breaching the outer defense line, HFY reported, her consciousness flowing through their merged form. They've adapted some of our hybrid technology. Marcus watched through enhanced senses as massive black ships twisted into grotesque configurations, their crews forcibly merged with machines. But not the balance, not the control. The evidence was clear in their attack patterns: raw power without finesse, evolution without wisdom. Syndicate hybrid ships leaked corrupted energy, their crews screaming across quantum frequencies as their transformations spiraled out of control. They're desperate, the Nomad commander observed through their shared network, forcing transformations too quickly. Because they know what we represent. Marcus directed the Aurora fleet through a series of impossible maneuvers, quantum engines leaving trails of crystallized reality in their wake, the end of their kind of power. The battle sprawled across three-dimensional space, hybrid technologies warping the laws of physics themselves. But where the Syndicate's ships fought alone, each trying to prove its dominance, the Allied fleet moved as one unified force. Different species, different technologies, different evolutionary paths, all working in perfect harmony. Their main fortress is deploying something new, HFY warned. Energy signatures are off the scale. The space around Syndicate Prime twisted as their ultimate weapon emerged, a massive construct of corrupted hybrid technology and stolen evolutionary data. At its heart, Marcus sensed the imposter who had betrayed them, now transformed into something that barely registered as alive. This is what godhood looks like. Her voice boomed across all frequencies, distorted and wrong. This is true evolution. No, Marcus replied calmly. This is fear. He reached out through the hybrid network, touching the minds of every evolved crew in their fleet. Each species added its unique perspective, its particular wisdom. Through their combined consciousness, he felt the true potential of unified evolution. You wanted to control the next step, he broadcast. To own the future. But the future isn't something you can cage. The massive Syndicate weapon fired, reality-splitting energy lancing toward their fleet. But Marcus had seen this coming. The Allied ships moved in perfect synchronization, their hybrid systems linking to create something unprecedented. Energy flowed through evolved crews of a dozen species, each contributing its unique strengths. Nomad intuition merged with Voraxian quantum mathematics, human creativity enhanced by synthetic precision. The combined power of truly unified evolution. Impossible, the imposter's twisted voice raged. We have the superior technology. Technology was never the point. Marcus let his evolved form shine bright enough for every ship to see. My grandfather understood that. Evolution isn't about becoming the strongest or the most advanced. It's about becoming the most complete. The Allied fleet's combined power met the Syndicate weapons blast. For a moment, space itself held its breath. Then reality clicked back into focus, and the corrupted energy was simply absorbed. "What have you done?" the imposter demanded. "Showed you what real evolution looks like." Marcus opened himself fully to the hybrid network, letting every being in both fleets witness the truth. Not conquest, not domination. This. Through their shared consciousness, through the combined perspectives of a dozen evolved species, they all saw it. The next step wasn't about becoming gods or weapons. It was about becoming better together than any one race could be alone. The Syndicate weapon began to break apart, its forced evolution unraveling as its crews glimpsed a better way. Across their fleet, ships stopped firing as the truth spread through quantum links they couldn't control. "You can't stop progress," the imposter's voice crackled, desperate now. "You can't stop the next step." "We're not stopping it." Marcus felt AOIA's consciousness merge perfectly with his, felt the harmony of their allied fleet. "We're sharing it." The final battle ended not with a spectacular explosion, but with a choice. As the truth spread through hybrid networks, as crews glimpsed the potential of unified evolution, the Syndicate's power crumbled. Ships powered down. Crews rejected forced transformations in favor of natural growth. "They're surrendering," Araya noted with quiet amazement. "All of them." Marcus watched as the massive Syndicate weapon collapsed in on itself, its corrupted evolution finally burning out. The imposter's twisted form dissolved, unable to maintain stability without the force holding it together. "What now?" the Nomad commander asked through their link. "Where does evolution lead us?" Marcus looked out at the transformed fleets, at dozens of species learning to grow together instead of conquer. His grandfather's legacy had become something greater than anyone imagined, not just the next step for humanity, but a path forward for all sentient life. "Everywhere," he answered, "and we'll go there together." The hybrid network hummed with possibility as the Allied fleet moved into formation around Syndicate Prime. The next chapter of galactic history was beginning, not one of conquest or domination, but of shared growth and unified purpose. "Ready for what comes next?" Aurea asked through their merged consciousness. Marcus felt the combined strength of their evolved allies, each species bringing its own gifts to their shared future. "As long as we remember what makes evolution worthwhile." The stars seemed brighter somehow as their fleet prepared to jump. Humanity's next step had become something greater, a journey shared with others, guided by wisdom instead of fear. And somewhere, Marcus thought, his grandfather was smiling. The Aurora fleet vanished into quantum space, carrying with it the seeds of a revolution, not in weapons or technology, but in the simple, powerful truth that true evolution lifts everyone up together. The next step had been taken, and this time, no one would walk it alone.